Thierry Breton, the EU's Internal Market Commissioner, has just struck a deal with the European Parliament on the introduction of a digitized ID, a system of identification, which would allow citizens to show proof of identity when they access certain services. This digital ID, which is also called a digital wallet, would also be associated with sensitive personal information such as bank accounts, payment information, medical records, professional credentials, and so forth. Over 500 researchers, cybersecurity experts, and civil society organizations have already signed a public letter to the Commission expressing concerns that the current regulations do not sufficiently protect the privacy and security of citizens. In the present political and legal climate, this is probably just about the worst moment to put in place an infrastructure of digital identification that is integrated and unified and controlled from a central hub, if you will, whether it be the member states or the European Commission. This is a terrible time to introduce an integrated digital ID system into Europe, particularly one that is managed and controlled by politicians, because our political class has shown us very, very clearly that they do not understand the meaning of freedom and privacy, and that what they celebrate as making Europe safer is in fact a recipe for tyranny. And let me just give a few examples to show that this is such bad timing to get on board with this sort of digitization project. So there are three developments that show us the general direction of travel in Europe, and that is a travel towards greater control, top-down control of citizens' lives, and greater technocracy. The first is the digital COVID certificate, which we saw was used to essentially coerce citizens into accepting an experimental vaccine and discriminate against anyone who decided that they did not want to put this vaccine in their bloodstream. In other words, a system of biosurveillance. The second development is the Digital Services Act, which empowers the European Commission to oversee content moderation policies in large online platforms like Google, Facebook, and Twitter X, and promote their particular ideas of what counts as disinformation, what counts as hate speech, and what counts as civic discourse. The third really important development is the development of a digital euro, a central bank digital currency. And this is going to be rolled out in the next few years. And this currency is going to be incorporated into this digital wallet. A central bank digital currency, what it does is it gives central bankers the power to program your money. That means not only can they monitor your purchases if they wish to, but they can also program your money in such a way that your digital euros cannot be used for certain transactions. So for example, you could imagine a scenario in which you will have a quota of X amount to spend on petrol because that's not environmentally friendly. Or you can imagine a situation in which you have been accused of hate speech or you've been involved in politically disruptive behavior, and therefore they reduce your access to, say, welfare, or they prevent you from spending money on political advertising. Of course, they're saying that this is not going to happen. But the point is, by digitizing the currency in this way, they provide themselves with a tool through which they can manipulate your economic choices. Now, this is the background against which Thierry Breton and his colleagues are introducing a new European digital ID. And I think you can see from what I've said that the direction of travel in Europe is very much towards a more technocratic and more top-down style of governance. If we consent to a digital ID system that is fully integrated and controlled by the European Union and member states, then we are essentially saying we trust these people with our information and our money.